It was a dark and stormy night in 1973. Psychiatric hospitals were getting away with mistreating patients, psychiatry was being challenged, and a man called Fred ate a ham sandwich near a bus stop after having been thrown out by his sister after she found him licking a wall. David Rosenhan and his 7 idiot friends were down the pub after a long day of challenging psychiatry when Rosenhan spoke in his deep, booming voice that sounded like a drunk mouse. "I think we should con our way into some psychiatric wards and take notes of what we find there," says Rosenhan. "The challenge of every institution of psychiatry and the warlocks who guess at people's mental illnesses?" asked Holly, who was going to have a romantic subplot of Rosenhan. "No, just because I'm a bit bored and I think it'll be funny," said Rosenhan. "And the wife wants me out of the house when the milkman comes round. Probably innocent. Anyway, who's in?" There was a loud cheer from everyone. "Right, so here's the plan." Meanwhile, in the void between dimensions, Rosenhan sets up with his merry band with them as psychiatry's bait. Before this happened on this land, so changed the course of it. When I first wrote this, the singing was better. I knew how to sing this. "You just shut up the singing," boomed the voice of King Blackbird, still trapped there after the last story, but at least he was drinking a smoothie down the intergalactic pub. "It's a bit annoying, mate. I'm bound only to speak in verse as you suffer for your crimes. I'm the watcher of the universe and I do some decent rhymes." Yeah, that was how I sang it originally. That's a bit better, but my singing's not great. King Blackbird sighed. He'd been listening to this constant singing for about 7 minutes, and it was already driving him round the bend. Actually, it wasn't. The car he'd gotten in after drinking his smoothie was, but it's a metaphor. You can't complain about a metaphor. Last person to complain about a metaphor got driven up the wall. That wasn't a metaphor. "All this talk of metaphors reminds me of a man. I've sung about this guy before, and his name was Suzanne." The singer was named Terry, or Lord Regent Fragile World Watcher the 48th, son of God-Chain and Dragonborn King Laurie of Gilborn, and Isabella, gentle and merciless future working queen of West Jupiter, for short. Only his best friend could call him Terry. "Are you one of his best friends?" "No." "Go on with the story," said King Blackbird. "You didn't actually tell us the plan," said Simon, one of the random faceless pseudo-patients. "You just let that random dude sing." "Well, it should be in your head," said Rosenhan. There was a long pause. "Oh, fine, I'll tell you," said Rosenhan. "We'll book ourselves into 12 psychiatric hospitals." I was meant to do a long pause there. I've screwed this up now. "There's only 8 of us," said Robert, a man who had been far too close to his mum when he was about 4, but was now completely inseparable from his dad. Literally, his dad was glued onto him. It wasn't a metaphor. "Shut up," said Rosenhan. "Anyway, we'll say that we're hearing the words empty, hollow and thud." "Why?" asked Jack, who had no defining features. "Because I feel empty and hollow when the milkman comes round, and I want to give him a thud," said Rosenhan. "I thought you said it was innocent," said Mathilde. "Yeah, no," said Rosenhan, stroking his beard in a way so that he wasn't stroking his beard. "Anyway, let's go, gang. Let's be sane in insane places. To see how this pans out when I come to Earth to see. Things will be different, there's no doubt. But first I need a wee." Well, fast forward 4 hours. I reckon you have schizophrenia," said Bill Kay, psychiatrist extraordinaire and head of the hospital. Literally, the left arm of the hospital was called Daisy. It wasn't a metaphor. And I apologise if the singing was quite quiet. Someone just walked past. So, yeah. "Goody," screamed Rosenhan. "That means I can get in." "What?" asked Bill. "Nothing," said Rosenhan. One by one, the others were all diagnosed with schizophrenia, except for one, Alexandra, who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but she'd not followed the script properly anyway. It was no surprise that Alexandra decided to add interpretive dance when she described her symptoms. "Okay, we're in," said Rosenhan, pulling down his visor and using his ultra-high-tech communication device, otherwise known as a walkie-talkie. "What do we do?" asked Peter. "I forgot." "That's because he didn't explain anything beyond saying empty, hollow and thud." "Well, what am I doing?" "That's because he didn't explain anything beyond saying empty, hollow and thud," said Mathilde. Running a hand through her bowl cut, she stared menacingly at a member of staff with her eyes that were as blue as something extremely blue, with the blueness multiplied by 10. Subtract 6, cube it again, and then find a square root before adding 5. Then throw out all the numbers and just think of something incredibly blue. "Yeah, I did," said Rosenhan. We have to watch the staff to see how they treat the patients and record what we find. Stickiness of labels and all that. "Labels are pretty sticky," said Jack. "My mum has this label machine that produces labels that never come off. We haven't seen the middle of my sister's forehead for 15 years. She had to go to a job interview yesterday with the words 'I am gay' stuck to her forehead." Not quite what I was talking about, said Rosenhan. Anyway, just act like you normally would. Whatever you do, don't swallow any pills. I mean it. You definitely haven't told us this, said Holly, blowing a kiss down the walkie-talkie. Rosenhan blew a kiss back despite being married.
Stopped at the bit where that guy was singing about needing the wee. I still love you though, Cuddle Bunny.
I love you too, sweetie rabbit, said Rosenhan, his eyes briefly turning into hearts. That actually was a metaphor this time. I can't remember to do any of the voices. Meanwhile, Bill's body melted away, revealing his true form. Lord Regent of Fragile World Watcher, the 48th, son of God-chaining Dragonborn King Laurie of Gilborn, and Isabella, gentle and merciless future working Queen of West Jupiter. Time to get to work changing the time stream, he said. Then I can watch the snooker. Can I please be one of your best friends? Asked the other narrator. No, said Lord Regent Fragile World Watcher the 48th, son of God-chaining Dragonborn King Laurie of Gilborn, and Isabella, gentle and merciless future working Queen of West Jupiter. I'm begging you, said the other narrator, please just let me call you Terry. He got a shake of the head. Okay, Lord Regent Fragile World Watcher the 48th, son of God-chaining Dragonborn King Laurie of Gilborn, and Isabella, gentle and merciless future working Queen of West Jupiter, said the other narrator, whose name was Tim. As Rosenhan set to work, the milkman approached his house with a suspicious glint in his eye. Half an hour later, Rosenhan got a call from his wife.
Where are you, Rosie? She asked. The milkman's just gone. You can come back.
Shut up, I'm watching insane people here. I'm talking to insane people, said his wife, hanging up. Hang on, said the patient, you're not mad. Yeah, said another, probably a journalist or something. No, I'm definitely mad, said Rosenhan. I'm mad at my wife for not telling me what she does with the milkman. So that man's not mad, screamed a third patient, as 32 other patients in other hospitals did the same. No, I reckon he is, said Bill, walking in. I'm not mad, I'm a researcher, said Rosenhan. You just said you were mad, though. I am mad. I'm mad at you, because you think I'm mad when I'm not. Rosenhan got a call at the moment. Adios, paisanos, he said to everyone else there. Rosenhan, swallowed 2 pills, screamed Alexandra. You idiot, you had one job, bellowed Rosenhan, hanging up. Anyway, he said, talking to Bill once again, I'm not mad. You keep me in line earlier, that's pretty insane, said Bill. It's normal, cried Rosenhan. Well, you see, I decide what's mad and what's not, said Bill, bursting into a flash of light, and revealing his true form as Lord Regent Fragile World Watcher the 48th, son of God-chaining Dragonborn King Laurie of Gilborn, and Isabella, gentle and merciless future working Queen of West Jupiter. And right now, things may seem a little crazy for you. He snapped his fingers, letting everyone else out of their hospitals. This didn't happen in the original time stream, sobbed Rosenhan. What do you want? I'm a bit bored, to be honest, Lord Regent Fragile World Watcher the 48th, son of God-chaining Dragonborn King Laurie of Gilborn, and Isabella, gentle and merciless future working Queen of West Jupiter. Needs a bit of fun. Anyway, my name is Lord Regent Fragile World Watcher the 48th, son of God-chaining Dragonborn King Laurie of Gilborn, and Isabella, gentle and merciless future working Queen of West Jupiter. But as you've been so fun, you can call me Terry. Also, that certainly makes things easier, said Rosenhan, as a nurse revealed her true identity as Tim. Oh, for the love of hot cross buns, yelled Tim. Anyway, you cannot leave here, not until the snooker's on, said Terry. Of course, your friends could organise an escape for you. I'm really bored. Rosenhan phoned up all his friends to tell them to bust him out. I love you, sweet cheeks, he said to Holly, but I'm worried my wife's cheating on me.
I'll bust you out of there, sugar cakes,
swooned Holly. You, said Terry, I didn't sign on for this. Okay, gang, we need a plan, said Simon. I suggest we march in there, guns blazing, and demand him back. My cat won't like that, he's afraid of noise, said Matilda. It'll be fine, we won't be anywhere near your cat, said Jack. Well, I have a better idea, said Robert. Like that time we tried to build a swimming pool in my back garden, said Peter. Their bickering continued for hours. Oh god, the snooker's starting in a minute, said Terry. I'd best be off. Get some less pathetic friends, Rosen. Adios, paisanos. Technically it should be adios amigos, says Rosenhan, despite having said the same thing earlier. I thought there would be a cool heist scene. I'm a bit disappointed by the outcome. He got home to find the milkman with his wife. Aha! Caught you, screamed Rosenhan with glee. Rosie, he's only delivering milk. I only want you out of the house when he's around, because you always make a scene around him. Rosenhan stomped off, muttering about doing a new experiment just to get out of the house. To be continued.